Hello and welcome, toy fans, friends, and the awesome Toy Reel community. It is 2023. I hope you all had a great Christmas and awesome New Year. I am so pumped to be back. Certainly looking forward to a new year with new plans, programs, and streams, hopefully to bring you all the things in the wonderful world of toys and collectibles. Now, tonight we are going to bring the boys on, pretty much a full house, maybe for one or two missing members, but we're going to discuss some of our favorite toy picks for 2022, and we will be right back after this. Man, I love that intro. Massive thanks to Alex Argento, all the way from Italy, for writing that piece of music. And also, I'll be remiss to not mention Rode Microphones for all the wonderful audio gear we're using and we're utilizing show after show. Now, before I begin the show, I want to paraphrase something. By supporting, watching, liking, and subscribing to this channel, which I would be perpetually grateful for, you're now part of what I would coin a safe space, a place or gateway drug to where I cannot promise anything or take any responsibility if the outcome results in you having an addiction to toys and action figures. Or if any of you don't have the cash, time, or means to buy toys for no reason and choose to live vicariously through us or me as a toy junkie or any of the guys and wanker that enjoys talking about toys, then allow me to be that wanker. So before I start, I want to remind everyone that the opinions posted and expressed here tonight are our own. It's not a reflection or association with any establishment. This is meant to be fun and lighthearted and a way of conversing with peeps, catching up with old friends, and joining all of you guys in the Insta universe and YouTube universe. So without any further ado, I'm going to start my introductions. Going to bring on the first guy, swinging all the way from the Northern Beaches, a man who is seldom on the show, but very much part of the family and is extremely talented as an artist in his own right, a toy collector of all sorts, and certainly a very nice guy, Mr. Will Cook. Cookie.
Hey, how you going, mate?
Good.
I'm good, man. Hey, love the intro, by the way. Top notch shit. Love it, man. Love it.
I love it. Good. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay, good to have you on as well. You're seldom, like I said, you're seldom on, but you're always part of the family, mate. So it's good to have you on tonight. So we couldn't certainly omit you from the best of 2022. So yeah,
of course,
glad you can join us tonight.
Thanks,
no worries. Okay, the next person, the Italian stallion, but the miniature version, I think. Certainly a hardcore Sydney Sweeney fan, the crowd teaser, the people pleaser, the glue that binds this establishment. And as Dennis from Lobos Collectibles calls him, Mikey Bye-Bye. Ladies and gents, Mr. Mikey Siciliano. Now I've got to find him. Where is he? There you go.
Woo! Well, that was a... Oh, that's great. Oh, man. I probably am, like most of the guys here, big Sydney Sweeney fans. Love her. Compelling actress.
We just hope that she sees this and you get that acknowledgement, you know?
Yeah, yes. Yeah, totally. I'd love to just to utter my name. But yes, thank you for calling me a small person as well. I really appreciated that.
No worries. I want the small people here tonight. That's good. Actually, I'm going to bring another small guy.
Good. Just bring another small. It's good. Good on you, mate.
Once again, from the trenches of the Victorian battleground, a man that has taken life by the nuts, is in fine form doing life and working several jobs to feed his toy addiction and putting where his mouth is and taking responsibility and living by example. Mr. Talon Appler. Got to unmute yourself, buddy.
Fellas, how are we doing?
How we're doing?
Yeah, I mean, living by example is is a bit of an extreme compliment, but I'll certainly take it. Hope I don't suffer from any, second stream syndrome, but I will attest, I am also a big Sydney Sweeney fan. Mikey's not
Very
alone.
good. Yeah, that's good.
Stunning
That's
stuff.
good.
Her
That's
He has
acting
great
is just-
assets.
Her acting, her acting, man. Her acting is just top notch.
what was the name of that series that you said was really good to watch?
Euphoria.
Euphoria,
Yes,
must
great.
watch.
Yeah,
It's,
okay,
it's
all right.
just for the story. 100%
All right,
for the story.
We'll bring the other guys on and see what they have to say. From the same geographical land of chaos, Spider-Gwen's football fields, and a purveyor of all fine foods, and my partner in crime when it comes to cutting late-night toy deals, Mr. Chris Steffo.
Hi all.
How are you, mate?
Not bad. Fantastic, Clinton. It's fantastic.
Great.
I got to say, I'm so glad there's so many people that can make it tonight. It's good. And by the way, there's a photo frame up there with all you guys in there, so I thought it was very fitting. So thanks to Will Cook, that was a nice little present as well. With all you guys here. So I kind of have you guys on the stream, but I also have you guys present here tonight, which is really nice.
I just noticed that like beforehand. I was like, oh my god, there it is in the background. So
Yeah.
thanks for that, Clint.
No worries. The next person is a religious icon and GQ magazine rolled into one. Someone who frequently lurks in the public restrooms, but is still insanely talented and gifted when it comes to tools. Our in-house dial maker and the next mountain bike world champ, Mr. William Siegel Jones. How are you going, mate?
That was incredible. Yeah.
Oh
thank you
no,
so
he's
much.
hot.
It's good to be back. Yes.
It's good.
Gods,
to
you're
be
on fire. That was
Hello.
fantastic.
No, it's so
Oh,
good.
God.
I'm just seeing the screen lit up with all these smiles and joy. It's fantastic, and it's a good start to 2023 as well. Now the next person is just back from London. He is certainly an Oliver Brown connoisseur, the man that lives and breathes all things Transformers, which is the only thing you'll probably find him talking about tonight, very passionately, of course. My friend, Mr. Jason Murray. Where are you, Jason? I got to find you. There you go. Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
I
The,
kind
uh,
of threw
the
you.
win- The,
With
the
3
window
hours.
for getting a flight in from London has been very, very tight this week. I've only just returned, and so I have been making up for lost time sitting outside my beloved Oliver Brown, and using some extra time sitting outside Oliver Brown to hunt Pokemon. As while I was over in the UK, my nephew got me back into Pokemon Go, and now at the end of the day, for some reason, my phone needs to be put on charge instead of being pretty much at 80% when I go to bed.
Oh, wow. That's impressive.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And last but not least, our very own Mark Nichols, the team prop lover of all toys, especially Star Wars, a role model to his kids and an outstanding public service agent, and a bloke that'll stand up for his friends, Mr. Andrew Ian. Where are you, bloke? Let me find you. There you go.
Hey. Oh, look at
Oh,
everyone.
my God.
This
It is Mark Nichols.
nice work. Nice. Hey, listen, that's a compliment. I'm happy to take
That's
that.
a great compliment.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
you
a
know,
hard
Mike.
worker. So I'm,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be thought of like that. That's for sure. But look at this. Like, it's always a pleasure to be in a room with such a bunch of legends. And even though it's virtually, it's still awesome to see everyone together.
It's toys tonight, man. We're going to talk about toys, the best of 2022, and I am truly excited because so tonight we're picking our top 3 figures and an honorable mention. I mean, really, if we had it our way, we could easily dish out probably our personal top 10. But because there's so many of us in Toy Reel, as we have done it every year, we want to consolidate this list and then bring you a manageable amount instead of ranting for the next 10 hours. Hence, we'll have picked our top 3 in no particular order. So, yeah, but before we do that, I want to say hi to a couple of people on the stream. So, good evening, Rob Franklin. It's always wonderful of you to join us. Who else is on? Let's have a look. Mark Jones. Tom Cooper.
Okay, this is my mate. I literally just shared the link with him, and he's a Souths fan, but he's also into Star Wars. So I thought I'd give him a shout.
Well,
out.
he's allowed
He
to.
sounds like a smart person.
He sounds like a very intelligent man. Yes, being a Souths fan. Indeed.
Perfect. Oh, well. The more the merrier.
And So Mark goes, the Youth Brigade. It certainly is. We're 3 old farts here tonight. Actually 4. Actually 4 of us and then the young ones, eh? You can say Youth Brigade, really.
I don't know who the 4th is. I'm trying to figure out who the 4th one is.
You reckon it's the Braden
I'm also not sure.
Chris looks about 25, but don't let that fool you.
You can't pick the 4 young guys in this picture.
No, the 4 old people.
Oh, right. Oh, gotcha.
I want to also give a quick shout out to the guys that are not here tonight. So Dave Bottrell and Simon Flack. And yeah, they were meant to come on, but they couldn't come on. Who am I missing? Is that it? That's it. Yeah.
Scratch things.
Yeah, they couldn't make it. I think maybe Simon said he'd probably try and jump on later on. Hi, good evening, Thomas. Good to see you here, and thanks for joining us. And tonight, we're going to be talking about our top toys for 2022. So for me, there are several things that I said constitutes a top figure, and this is, purely subjective, but there are a couple of criteria, and I think I just want to quickly maybe allude to them first, but everyone has their own, I suppose, preference or opinion. First, it has to be something I feel it's been highly anticipated. So it's a toy that you've been waiting for. Then it should be a toy that lives up to the hype or expectation once you actually physically have it in hand. Then I think it needs to be well made, sculpted, and painted well. I mean, those are all, very fundamental things. And probably the most important thing for me is it has to be close and accurate to the source material. So, you don't want to be getting toys that kind of don't look anything like the source material. And then lastly, it needs to be manufactured with good materials, basically, that provides a high level of durability and, most importantly, playability. Okay. So would you guys agree to that in terms of that criteria? Anyone's thoughts before I start with the first person?
That's good.
100%.
No objections here.
Spot on.
I'm going to be slightly counter to this, right? Because toys don't always have source material. Although I think in most of our cases we've chosen things that are action figure versions of other things that exist in popular media. But like there's definitely toys that exist that oh look, it's just me on the screen now. One man stands alone with his opinion.
Defending his country.
By the country he loves.
Yeah, but I do think most of the things that I've chosen tonight are pretty much retail release toys, and so some of them have flaws, and they might not necessarily be a representation of any source material, especially when it comes to Transformers. But I think in general the rules are fine, but also everyone has their own lists, and no one's really right or wrong. So let's see how they play out over the course of the night, eh?
Okay.
Agreed.
Okay.
Very well said.
Definitely. Okay. So let's start. Shall we kick off the night? Shall we start with Cookie? So Cookie, let's go back to you, because given the fact that I introed you first, let's start with your honorable mention and then your top 3 figures for 2022.
So yeah, sure. So honorable mention, recently I just acquired Star Saber from Jason. Thank you, Jace. I appreciate that. But this one means a little bit special to me. My girlfriend Britt, known as Toxic Grim on Instagram, pretty notable cosplayer in Sydney. She got me, sorry for the audio, the Lego Optimus Prime, and I'm not done with it. So at the moment I can't put it on the top 3 or whatever because it's not done yet. But so far, I love this thing. It means a lot for sentimental reasons, and and also just the history behind it. Honestly, like Lego and Hasbro team up to finally make a Lego Transformer, and there's always been like Creo and stuff like that, and it's never really worked, and Lego and Hasbro haven't really budged, and finally they team up, and it's pretty cool. It's like holding history in my hands, so can't really complain. It's a really thoughtful gift, and it's kind of everything I love from my childhood. So yeah.
Nice. Next one.
So this is my number 3. This one is some more Transformers, and we're going some 86 love. And this is a character that I've always sort of is in my top 5, and he's never really had a proper good toy for. Well, it's been hit or miss, and it's never been just right. It is the Studio Series 86 Ironhide, and a lot of people may disagree. It should not be on this list, but honestly, like I think it's beautiful, and it encapsulates the character so well. Like that big, bulky kind of old man nature of this character. You know, he's very like just he. You look at him and go, he's just a grumpy old bastard, really. He just for the first time ever, this has felt like the first real good G1 kind of Ironhide. We have the MP and like some Siege toys that a bit of a departure, but just saying that.
I got a quick question for you, Cookie.
Sure.
Would you say, and feel free to chime in with the rest of the boys as well. Is this the definitive mainline Ironhide, do you think?
I would, up to this point, I reckon. Yeah.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. No? Yeah.
I think so. He's, as a Voyager, he's slightly out of scale with some of the other figures, but then scale doesn't really matter when it comes to cartoons, and they all hang together nicely on the shelf anyway.
Yeah.
There are a couple of things about the figure. I think people were clinging more to the Cybertron mode Ironhide that we got a couple of years ago in Siege, and its Earth mode update I think didn't quite land as people wanted to. It's also ridiculously hard to get in Australia. So yeah, have at it. If there's one thing that I've seen on store shelves for the last few months, it's 86 Ironhide. So there's definitely no problems getting him here.
Nice. All right, Cookie.
I'll just say one more quick thing.
Sure.
Like with a lot of deluxes that are kind of on my shelves and Voyagers and stuff, they kind of just blend in. With this guy, I wake up and I see him like just with a bunch of like the season 1 bots of the other bots. He just stands out, and I look at him. He's just like he's the big red, cranky Texas talking Ironhide that I love, and I'm like, oh, finally, I got it. So
yeah, I agree. It's good to have a good one.
Yeah,
very nice.
Beautiful.
Okay, nice. All right, what's next on the list?
Next one, Marvel Legends wise, is the King in Black, Null and Venom 2-pack, and it's just Venom. But I was on the show before, and I showed this guy off before, pretty briefly here and there, and I just fell in love with him. And this year of Marvel Legends has been really, really solid, and it was really hard to pick, but I had to go with this guy for the build and just like the size. I love a good big giant figure that hovers over the other characters and stuff. And this is a repaint of the movie Venom from the Tom Hardy Sony film. Marvel Legends did that, I think, a few years later. And it really works well as a comic Venom. And you get a new head sculpt that's more based on the comic kind of look. And the proportions, in my opinion, this is just like my kind of dream Venom figure. Like, I love the look. I love the kind of the slenderness, but you got a very lean look, and the movie detail, like you can see some movie stuff in there, but it just works well as a comic based Venom figure, and it is just sublime. I love it. Can't get enough of it.
Nice. Cool. All right. And what's next on the list?
Okay, this is a recent purchase, and I had this for about a week, and I think it's kind of special to me, you know, and a little bit special to everyone. You know, it's pretty iconic, and I think it is the Magic Square lighter piece Optimus Prime, and this is their version 2 and third party Optimus Prime, and there's a dime a dozen of these, but this guy kind of nails it in my opinion, and just for the look and the neatness of it. Kind of based on I believe, what is it, MP44? Like I forget the version 2 name of
Yeah,
Optimus,
that's correct.
but
MP44.
Yeah,
yeah,
that track.
but yeah, you're not wrong. But it kind of just cleans it up, and it does its own thing. You know, more articulation, more just kind of durability, and you feel like you won't break this thing in your arms. I would say like it is a bit light, but it doesn't you know.
He doesn't have the shit knees that MP44 has.
Oh no, not yet. Well, we'll see over time, but it's just a beautiful piece of art. And like me watching the '86 movie and like seeing that, I just look at him and go like the scenes of him like about to faces Decepticons, about to face Megatron, and I just look at these two and go like, wow, this is just G1 Optimus Prime. And I had many G1 MP Primes, never really happy with it. And I had the first version from Magic Square, never did it for me, never really had what I needed basically. So this guy is perfect. I hope they don't do another one because I'm done spending money on G1 Primes. God forbid, stop it, Hasbro, but that's never going to happen.
Yeah. Cookie, prior to this particular figure you're holding in your hand, before this was released, was there an Optimus Prime that you wanted that would have made the cut in terms of what you would have bought?
Honestly, it would have probably been just
44?
MP44 as a placeholder, but I was never in love with it. Never in love with it. I still think MP10 is a solid piece to this day,
correct.
but it was never in the change of the MP scales and the kind of the design, more of the Sunbow kind of designs. I had to adapt to that, and I'm happy with it. I can say I'm safely saying that I'm happy with this one. Yeah.
But guess what? That was released in 2022. So there you go.
Yeah.
Good purchase. Good purchase. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. So is that it? Top 3 and honorable mention?
Yeah.
We got it was nice, short and sweet with Cookie. It was wonderful, certainly insightful. I'm definitely very keen on that Optimus Prime. So
well, we're going to see it tomorrow, so that's good. He's going to bring it.
Excellent.
I gotta say, I was actually really surprised when you said Magic Square Optimus Prime and then pulled out a masterpiece scale figure, because I was expecting it was going to be tiny.
They are quite known for the Legend scale stuff, and I think they're trying to enter that with the safe bet that is Optimus Prime. So they're like, there we go.
Yeah, cool.
Such a
okay.
clean
Next person on the list. Let's who see we are. Mikey is next on the list, isn't he?
Ooh.
Yes. The Italian
Step on
stallion.
up, Mikey.
I was about to say, you said short and sweet, and I said, here I am. My honorable mention is something that was made for me in the year 2023, and I do believe we have another figure like this. It is my Cam Slam.
Nice.
So this is the 2000. Oh god, probably should have researched this. The first universe sideswipe mold, painted up to look like a South Sydney player, and he's really cool. I partnered him with a little football that transforms from Botbots, and his name's Kickoff. And yeah, I was stunned that this was a gift for me. The very kind and generous Mike Green went out of his way to just customize this for me and made it for my birthday. So yeah,
Very cool.
it's amazing and I love it.
It's great. Nothing better than a toy you just really love.
And nothing's better than dropping your phone on the ground.
Okay, that's honorable mention. What's on the top? What's in the top 3?
All right, so coming in at third, we have
no particular order, or there's an order.
It's kind of an order.
Yeah. Okay.
So coming in at third, we have Marvel Legends 6-inch X-Men retro carded Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Now, I started watching the X-Men series this year, and I really, really like it. And when this guy made himself known in the series, I fell in love with him. I just thought he's a big, bad, just awesome character. And yeah, he's just been brought to life perfectly in this figure. I believe, if I'm correct, this was a Builder figure. So back in the day, it's a repaint of a Builder figure. So back in the day, you had to buy. Taylor, help me. How many figures would you have to buy to complete this guy?
I think 7.
Yeah.
Normally it's 7 in a Builder figure wave. Yeah.
Okay. So back in the day, you would have had to buy 7 individual, I'm guessing X-Men characters, because it only makes sense, but sometimes they don't do it. Figures to complete this guy. But this year they released him in a carded wave, and yeah, he's just, what can I say? He's pretty much the perfect representation of the guy that I was drawn to in the show. And yeah, he poses extremely well. The painting and sculpting work is really good. Articulation, yep, perfect.
All the things that you find in a Marvel Legends release, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not. I don't call myself an expert on Marvel Legends at all. I do have. Well, it's probably my second biggest collection now. Oh, maybe third actually after Star Wars. But this guy is so definitely up to the standards of. This guy's definitely up to the standards of those. Up to the standards of at least a Build-A-Figure. I have messed with a couple of Build-A-Figures in my time. He's great. He comes with a gun and accessories, and for the amount you pay for him, he's I think he's really cool, like really worth the price, and is why he's coming in at number 3 in my list for this year that I've purchased.
Beautiful. I
Nice.
like.
Very nice.
Yes.
What's next?
So next we have representing DC. We have I need to get this right. Mix Max Studios 6-inch. Oh no, hold on. Yep. Mix Max Studios 1/12 Stab of the Hades, not Deathstroke. So this guy is a third-party Deathstroke, and for the longest time, I've been looking for a really good representation of Deathstroke, and I think I found it. I believe this model is closely follows the tropes of is it Mezco figures? Mezco,
Yep.
yeah.
Mezco.
So, if you're looking for a insanely posable figure, you're not really. It's decently posable, but it's not going to be doing anything crazy. But it does have cloth goods, so all the black parts you see are cloth, and that actually does hinder articulation, but it just makes it more authentic and cool. And also the reason why I really particularly enjoy this piece is because it's modeled after the version of Deathstroke we see in Arkham Origins. And I love the Arkham games, including Origins. Actually, Origins is actually one of my favorite of the Arkham games, even though that's a controversial opinion. But this guy is a really fun boss battle, and I always wanted to have a representation of the way he looked in that game, and we finally have it.
Really cool.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just wanted to say, like I said, the cinematics of that game were, especially with Deathstroke, fucking amazing.
Yeah. It's underrated just because of how good the other 3 games are, and because it's not, you don't have Conroy, you don't have Hamill, and it's not Rocksteady, I believe it's a different company.
Yeah.
Rocksteady took a back seat, and then they came back for Arkham Knight, which I honestly believe is the weakest and most.
I agree
100%. Is the weakest of the 4. But Arkham Asylum and Arkham City and Arkham Origins honestly wasn't much of a step down from those first 2.
I agree. Look, Knight is basically a driving game, and that's not what I wanted in a Batman game.
Yeah,
so,
you're right.
It was too much Batmobile. But I love Origins. It was actually the first one I played, so that's probably a bit of bias. But he's like, just even in this pose, like he can do a good enough pose, really well sculpted, comes with a ton of accessories. And if you're looking for a Deathstroke and a really good one, he also has the Slade Wilson head that you can pop off and on. Really good toy. Definitely recommended if you're a Deathstroke fan or even just a DC fan.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Very nice. For anyone that's after that Mix Masters figure, it's actually still readily available on some sites in Asia. So have a look.
Can I just say one more thing before we go to the next thing? It's very rare to see any third party of like DC and Marvel stuff, because apparently it's not like a Transformers thing where it's pretty accessible.
See, I didn't know that. So this would be a rare case.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree. I'm not used to seeing this kind of thing come up in non-Transformers circles. So I think we had this on the round table sometime during the year as well. And yeah, I was really surprised that there's a bit of a third party market. It's not directly a Marvel Legends third party figure, because it is more of a sort of a kickoff of a knockoff of the Mezco one. I think, is that right, Clinton?
Yes. I wouldn't say. It is. To say it's a knockoff is pretty.
It doesn't feel like a knockoff. It is absolutely.
Did they I mean, did
Yeah.
they make their own figure?
Mixed Masters or
Yeah.
Yeah, no, well, you could say really it's their interpretation of what their stroke is. So
But
like
it's their
fair
sculpt.
enough. Fair enough. Look, having just sort of like thrown them in with the third party things on the Transformer side, we shouldn't say a KO anyway. But
yes,
but I mean, it's really unusual to see this stuff come up. I know that they're out there, and they come up more often. I think we have a Turtles one come up during the year as well, or was it? No, it was a
yeah, we
DC
didn't.
one.
No, we have a Turtles one, but we'll get to that.
There was a few Crangs. I think there was a Shredder from a company.
Yeah,
here
but
and there,
I think we talked about a DC figure, Croc dude.
Oh,
Yes.
Killer Croc. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
the
yeah.
Killer Croc.
Killer Croc, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
like
that's
this
it. I
is how
remember
much
that.
attention I pay to DC stuff. But so yeah, like it's come up a bit during the year, but yeah, it's just that they're not really aligned with, say, the 6-inch stuff that you get from Hasbro. They're more aligned with the higher end figures that you get from Mezco, is what we're saying, right?
Yep, totally.
Yeah, definitely.
totally.
Much
It's
like
high
with
quality.
Masterpiece Transformers.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. What else, Siciliano?
So coming in at number 1 is a figure that I've been highly anticipated and looking forward to this whole year, and didn't disappoint. Is the Legacy Transformers Voyager class Legacy Beast Wars Inferno. When you talk about figures that have desperately needed an update and haven't got one, this guy definitely falls into that mix. He basically, we've just got the original and then the Transmetal, if you count that, because technically it's a different character. And then that's it. And we haven't had anything till this guy. So the fact that it's taken that long kind of sucks, but what can you do? This guy is just really faithful to the character. He does everything you'd want a Voyager class Inferno to do, even have the awesome ability to open and close his mouth so he can
awesome.
plead
So
his
sick.
allegiance to Megatron, the royalty. And he has the ass blaster thing that he flies on, and this rotates even. They didn't have to do that. They absolutely didn't have to do that. And this piece here is actually, so this doesn't actually close up. Well, it does. You have to remove the gun, but this piece is just there for the aesthetic. So they've really gone out of their way for this guy. He's superposable. His transformation is actually insanely fun. Like, it's a really fun transformation. So he hits everything on a transformer. The painting, the sculpting's great. He's got translucent eyes here, and actually has light piping that works well when you're in the dark room. There's really it's honestly as close to a 10 out of 10 you get for a Voyager class transformer, and like it's the perfect rendition of this guy, and like only a masterpiece could beat it. But like even the current Beast Wars masterpieces aren't that great anyway. So I think this will be all we need. And did he live up to my expectations? He did. And the only thing that I could say it's lacking, like it did come, this thing is detachable and is his weapon. But in the show, he keeps that in his rear end and uses a giant flamethrower as his main weapon. So I might be looking to outsource a 3D printed flamethrower to make it definitely a 10 out of 10. But like all he does at the moment in my collection with my Predacons, he just stands there saluting his queen. And it's it's crazy that like this is my top figure of the year, because like it's Inferno. Like it's just the crazy royalist. So yeah,
Rob's got
great figure.
Rob's got his little thingamajig there. Goes Legacy Beast Wars Inferno is on my list of top figures for 2022. Bring on Beast Wars Silverbolt in 2022.
We need Silverbolt. We need
Death Charge,
Rampage, like a commander class Rampage with giant claws.
Yeah.
But this is a good start. Like we've pretty much had this year. We've had Beast Wars pretty much updated, and that's what we've needed for a long time. And that's just as good as it gets. So I'm happy.
Can I say about Inferno? I think all the Kingdom and Legacy Beast War stuff is really good. The first time I kind of realized like that Roger Rabbit effect for Beast Wars was Inferno. Like I got him out of the box, so I just saw him on shelf. And I'm like, holy shit, he looks like he's out of the cartoon. He looks like I just hear the voice, I hear him like burning shit. You know, like it's such a. I think for Transformers this year, it's a good time to be a fan.
Great.
Yeah, 100%.
It's good
Excellent.
stuff, man. Good stuff.
Nice. All right, guys. So next we're gonna go. So that's your honorable mention and top 3, yeah, Mikey?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, wonderful. So nice to say it was certainly a highlight for you. Let's go to Talon. Let's start with Talon's honorable mention and his top 3. What do you reckon?
I don't object. It might be a little bit hard
That's a good
because I
start.
think Mikey and Cookie threw out some heavy hitters to start the show. So I don't know if I'll be able to upstage it at all. But I'll start with my honorable mention, and it'll be the very recently released X-Men Retro Wave Spiral. So easily by far the strongest in the wave, I think, of X-Men retro carded figures. We had some really great figures in the wave. But this figure is just incredible. Six arms. I think it's the most elbow joints we've ever seen on a Marvel Legend.
The arm
So,
joint is
yeah.
actually really impressive. I've seen the what the arm joint, the socket looks like with them all pulled out.
It's fantastic. They're all double jointed. Every joint is pinless as well. The head sculpt. Paul Harding has been doing a lot of these head sculpts recently for the X-Men figures, and he does not miss on head sculpts. Very accurate to the source material, at least in this sort of aesthetic for Spiral. And it'll look great on display with Mojo. I'm still yet to get the Mojo World pack in, but I do look forward to getting that and putting them together on a shelf. But yeah, it's just, in my honest opinion, this might be the best female Marvel Legend figure that we have ever gotten, and she comes with an abundance of accessories as well. Very impressive figure. It just sort of raises a bit of a question as when you get a figure with that many arms and you can make them all double jointed and pinless, it sort of raises the question of why we're still getting female figures with single jointed elbows in 2023. Hopefully
to that, I'll just add, please understand the budget across the line.
I do understand the budget, but like I feel like at least the bare minimum like should almost be double jointed elbows, even if they're not pinless. Like I get we're still sort of in the transition phase to getting everything to pinless, but but either way, Spiral is an unbelievable figure. As Cookie said, it was a strong year for Marvel Legends, and that's why she's not quite my number one. I do have another figure that I'm going to talk about shortly when I eventually get to it.
And before you do, just a quick hi to Katie as well. Simon Flack is not here tonight. We miss him, but we will also talk about his top 3 and honorable mention.
He's dead.
No.
Can I say, I love how she.
Wow.
It was a terrible shame. Simon exploded.
That was a definitive answer as well, wasn't it? Like,
he couldn't join. He will try, actually. He said he was going to try and join us.
He's going to come to us from the afterlife.
Yes.
Cookie will just stop talking to him. He's
Hey guys, check this out.
We got
the tall English dude is going to rise up from the grave.
We got a question for Kaylin. Rob Franklin goes, how many of those swords came with the figure?
They all came with the figure. So this little sort of scythe accessory, this main sword, and the 4 katanas. Like I said, an abundance of accessories, which is amazing. This is my favorite female Marvel Legend figure that we've ever gotten. And there have been some really good ones over the years.
Mark has a point. Spiral part of Marvel's prediction of the coming of the reality TV, whatever that means. That was for Talon or for me? I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I honestly, I mean, I don't. part of Marvel's prediction of coming to TV. I mean, it would be good to see her in the MCU, or if she does appear. Obviously, we're still yet to kind of get the X-Men introduced, but yeah, Spiral would be awesome to see on the big screens.
Then we have someone hyper shouts all the way from America-stan.
Hyper's one of my mates tuning in there. Thank you very much. Lovely to see your name on the stream, mate.
Simon's
Definitely.
sliding from the grave as well.
Simon is going, I'm not dead. I can't even be
You fools. This is not even Simon's final form.
I even read that in his voice.
Can't get it out of my head.
All right, Jalen, what else on your list?
All right, so going to go to number 3. We're going to be shifting over to the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon line, which is very much starting to wind down. Which I'm going to be going with the Neutrinos. So the hot rodding teens from Dimension X, or juvenile delinquents, as Krang would put them. They were introduced very early on in the cartoon. I believe episode maybe 4 or 5. I think when Krang was in the process of getting his second suit made, his android body, very accurate to the source material. I think as being consistent with the entire cartoon line. They all look, every figure that's been released looks as if they jumped right out of the screen. Obviously, you got Zack, Kala, and Dask. My only sort of gripe with these figures is that they're nearly impossible to stand. Kala specifically, because you got these little sort of tiny feet with like high heels on them.
Yeah.
So I'm not even going to attempt to restand them as I put them there. And obviously, Dask has these little kind of pointy dress shoes kind of thing. But yeah, very cool characters, very early allies of the Turtles, kind of the first really, because they appeared so early in the cartoon. And I think they appeared in like 5 or 6 episodes total. Oh, by the way, Zack, there's not much of a problem getting him to stand. But yeah, it sort of makes it a thing of like why it makes you wonder why it took NECA so long to actually get them. But I guess with that, it is kind of a nice sort of round off to the cartoon line, as they are kind of the last sort of group of essential characters to be released in the line. I know Usagi Yojimbo also came out this year, which is an awesome figure, but I sadly did not get my hands on it as of this point, so I cannot include him in the list. But as with all the NECA Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle stuff, you can see they come with a ton of accessories. You can see all their hoverboards and a lot of niche accessories throughout the line as well. You can see that there's even the little baby there from that one episode in the cartoon, and the pet, which I actually don't recall seeing that. I probably should have gone and watched all the episodes they appeared in before this. But yeah, very happy to finally get those in the NECA cartoon line. I think I can speak for every Turtle fan when I say that. Yeah, it's nice to finally have them. It would be cool if we could get their car at some point, because they are bringing out the Turtle van, but I don't think we'll ever see the cars released. But yeah, but they do actually come with little sort of stands to help them stand up, which is kind of their saving grace. And then on to number 2.
Yep, number 2.
Sorry.
Let's go.
I said NECA.
Real quick.
And then I'm going to the Fans Toys. Did Cookie want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say the Neutrinos. They're my favorite K-pop band. I love them. They're so cool. BTS, watch out.
For my number 2, I'm going to go with the very recently released Fans Toys FT49 Phantasm, not Mirage. Very typical Fans Toys build quality. A fuckload of die-cast metal on the figure. A lot of paint as well. A lot of very nice paint. Everything you come to expect from a Fans Toys figure. I haven't transformed it, but I can tell you it's got an overly complicated transformation, as they all do as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, the reason I picked this guy is because Mirage is my favorite of the Autobots. The Autobot Spy, and his big fan. As a Formula One fan, I've always loved his alt mode. Yeah, so very happy that Fans Toys finally gave him to us, and I think he is, without question, the best Mirage representation in MP scale that we've ever gotten.
And now he's going to be on the big screen. I know you're happy about that.
Yeah, well,
got a
it should
question
be
for you with
jazzed,
that.
but you know, yeah,
Got a question for you with that, Mirage. Can you bring him back up there, please?
yeah.
Like, I can't help but feel that chest looks a little bit bare. Are you planning to put an Autobot logo on there? And is there any other
I
racing
absolutely am.
livery?
I only got this out of the box like I think yesterday or the day before.
Fair enough.
So yeah. Oh no, he's definitely getting an Autobot symbol put in that.
He
chest.
does look
I
wrong.
love Pete Davison. He's so cool.
Hey, Simon said, FT Mirage is a quality figure. Nice choice, Taylor. There you go, buddy.
Choice cuts.
Choice cuts. For sure.
And then my number one, which is a Marvel Legend. Very strong year for Marvel Legends, specifically the Spider-Man line. Obviously, we got all those 60th anniversary releases. And it took me a while to actually come to a decision because we got two of the best Spider-Man figures we've ever gotten, being these two guys. Obviously, you have here, I have the Amazing Fantasy first appearance Spider-Man, and also the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, which is the first Spider-Man to give us in that Hasbro's done to give us the sort of toe articulation. So this one is kind of a younger Peter Parker, so more sort of his teenage slender body, and this, as you can see by this one, it's more kind of filled in. So whichever one you prefer, whichever one is better, it entirely comes down to personal preference. But for me, I think this guy just slightly edges it out because I do kind of prefer Peter is more of that teenage body. The articulation is a little bit better on the Renew of our Spider-Man. Obviously, you got the toe joints. I think the butterfly joints are a little better as well. But when I stand it up next to a more standardized, so this Vulcan buck is kind of the basic sort of male human buck we'll be getting in the future, obviously replacing the Bucky Cap mold. And as you can see, when I sort of stand them side by side, I think Spider-Man is still a little bit bigger than I'd like him to be when comparing him to a lot of other heroes. But as I said, like it's all personal preference between the two, and they are definitely like two of the best Spider-Man figures we've ever gotten. I know the Mafex one came out at the back end of the year. I have not gotten that figure, but that is also a $170 figure that you can't just find on shelves. Whereas these guys are like this guy, you can walk into a JB Hi-Fi and pick him up for like $40.
Cool.
Which I think is great. It's always great when figures are readily accessible.
Very nice, Helen. I just love your insight in terms of the lore as well, and making reference to each particular character.
I did not mention the source material. I will quickly go over that. This is based off the first appearance, like the first page. So it's very accurate in terms of that. Whereas this is, if you go back and look at the Renew of Ours comic, he didn't necessarily look like this all the time. This is more kind of just a generic sort of looking Spider-Man like look. But yeah, in terms of accuracy to the source material, the first appearance one is definitely closer to it.
Very nice. Very good. Cool. All right. Well, before we move on to Chris and then Jason and Andrew and myself, I just want to quickly mention the honorable mentions and the list of 3 top figures for Simon and Dave that are not present tonight. So, who has Simon's list? Can we tell? Yeah. So, what's Simon's honorable mentions, top 3 figures for 2022?
Simon's honorable mention is the Fans Hobby Fire Guts God Genrai.
Gorgeous figure.
A mainly orange repaint of God Genrai or Power Master Optimus Prime. I hear that's amazing. Jason can attest to that. So yeah, that's.
So I don't actually have the Fans Hobby version, but I've seen it in photos from people like Sixo and Co. Like,
yeah, Sixo loves that thing. Yeah. He's got it. He's got lots of photos of that.
I think he published a photo of it today.
Yeah, well, makes sense because it's just really well done. Coming in at third, we have Fans Toys Sovereign Toy Repaint. I actually have this as well, so I can talk about this. So Fans Toys Sovereign is a masterpiece styled Galvatron. It's basically your perfect masterpiece Galvatron. Like all Fans Toys figures, as Talon said, really hard to transform. I've never transformed mine because I don't see the point, because it just turns into a giant cannon. And yeah, he's got super amazing articulation, looks spot on, like from every angle to the likeness of Galvatron, and he's the perfect Galvatron. So good choice at 3. Coming in at 2, we have G.I. Joe Classified Ali Viper, which I cannot talk on
Ooh.
because I do not have.
That is a very nice. I think you had a massive call for that, didn't I think? Yeah, I think we. Sorry, I just was going to allude to something else, but I just remembered. It was certainly a very popular figure. It's highly anticipated. It certainly looks nice in the flesh, and yeah,
he says Joe Classified was my standout line of the year. Every figure was a home run. That's what Simon just said.
I you know what? I highly agree, and I mean it's very hard to fault almost every classified figure. When I looked at the release, I mean, Jason, you saw them in hand as well. What are your thoughts? I mean, for not being particularly a classified fan, I mean, very well done.
I think the sculpts on the classified line are pretty astonishing. They're really good. It's a line that Hasbro owns instead of licensing, and so like you can tell the care that they put into it. There's clearly a lot of love for the franchise at Hasbro, and the classified line. The classified line seems to be just going from strength to strength. They've got some really big releases in the tail end of the year with Mindbender and Serpentor as well. But I think most of the classified crew in Toy Reel probably haven't got Serpentor just yet. I think he might make it into a 2023 list.
Yeah. I think just alone you could do a top 10 list just on classifieds themselves. So
yeah, definitely.
I've seen.
I must say, when I saw the classified line a couple of weeks ago in hand, it's something I wish the Marvel Legends were like, but understand why they're not like that though. But they are wonderful figures to have in hand.
Yeah, 100%. And for a non G.I. Joe fan, like I've never ever had anything to do with G.I. Joe growing up. It holds no nostalgia for me. That's probably one line that I have had to not like force myself to not buy, because every single one of them looks so good. And I'm like, why would I not collect this awesome line of figures? It's purely nostalgia. That's it. So the only thing that held me back is the fact that I don't know the source material. I don't know each figure and all that sort of stuff.
It's a deep dark hole.
I can back that.
Yeah, and I'm happy not to dive into that one. I'm in too many holes as it is.
Simon goes, I don't think there was a dud all year, and that's a rare thing across the entire line.
Exactly.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate and say that Barbecue wasn't particularly my most favorite figure of that entire line. So
why was it overdone?
Barbecue, I don't know. Maybe Simon can comment. Barbecue was, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway.
It was not as saucy as we would have liked.
For a lot of shit that people give Hasbro, they've been knocking it out of the park this year. It's been really good. Marvel Legends, Transformers, and G.I. Joe. Like, I don't collect G.I. Joe, and for what I've seen from Simon and Clint, it's top-notch stuff. It looks really good.
What's Simon's number one?
And I just want to say I've seen the Serpentor in person. Like for the money, that is an amazing. You're getting a lot of toy with that. That's really cool. Coming in number 1 is another Fans Hobby figure, and it is Fans Toys Chomp. So Fans Toys Chomp is a masterpiece third-party figure of the Headmaster Skullcruncher.
Yeah.
I have seen a couple of reviews of this guy. And yeah, apparently he's just very faithful to the source material. I guess alligator mode, because it's America. The alligator mode is like really, really cool. If Simon would like to jump in and tell us what he likes about Chomp. But yeah, like if Chomp would be the one that would like be the gateway into, for me at least, to collecting the rest of the headmasters, because Chomp is just really, really well done. So Chomp was beautiful and finished off my headmasters to boot, double win, and he's animation perfect according to Simon. Yeah, and I'm actually keen to see that one in person. So Simon, please bring him tomorrow, and I would like to very much see him if you can.
I think Simon actually unboxed him on an episode of the Round Table during the year as well. So I seem to recall sitting next to him and him gushing over a Fans Toys headmaster. So I think that might have been it, but I'm not sure if you were there for it, Mikey.
Yeah, I want to see it again. So let's do that.
Beautiful. It was beautiful and finished off my. He finished off, did he? My headmasters to boot double win. So there you go. He's animation perfect.
It's an odd time loop that we've entered into, but it's okay.
Yeah.
I just said this.
we literally just did this.
What did you think? I was just making up Simon.
No, but I just wanted to bring up the comments. Sorry.
We did. We put them next to the Cobra Troopers.
Oh,
yes, Cobra Troopers.
Okay. All right. My bad. All right, cool. So that's Simon's. And then we got Dave's honorable mention in top 3. So who's got Dave Bottrell's honorable mention top 3? Anyone? Yeah, nay. Yes, I thought someone's taking care of that today.
Someone is madly scrolling through Messenger.
I contacted Dave, and he said he gave it to Clint, and didn't hear back.
Clinton is madly scrolling through Messenger.
Oh no, I'm not. I signed that to 2 of the guys today, and I said, "Can you please take care of it?" And Will said he will take care of it. So,
all right, someone contact Dave while we're on the air, and let's move on.
Yes. Okay. Yes, on a break. So the next person we're gonna go back, and now it's Will Siegel.
Oh,
Will. Oh, no, actually, sorry, my bad. It was Chris Steffo first, then we'll go Chris, then we've got a Will. Okay.
Oh, sorry, Will.
Teased.
Okay, so my honorable mention. This is something that it's another custom that got done for me. Mikey did say that there was another custom. I believe he was alluding to this one.
Ooh.
This one was something that a friend of all of ours did. He lives in Melbourne, and I believe he had a lot of fun making this because he is also a big fan of the team that was made into. So I got made.
Oh wow!
Western Bulldogs.
Very, very cool.
Nice figure. He's done little number 4, so makes him custom Transformers Bontempelli. Little things, as in the emblem, which I can't get it to focus, but yeah, Bulldog's emblem on it. And not only that, he's given me a little bot which he named Sharon, which he also has put it in, like written Sharon on a name, but yeah, I can't really focus it up on it. So the customizer who did this was M-Toy Customs, which is a friend of ours, Michael Fisher, and just like to thank him for doing that for me. Truly wonderful figure. Okay, so start with my number 3. So number 3. Sorry, give me 1 second because I'm going to mess up all these names, but this one I won't.
Can I just say on your custom, amazing, and I can't wait for the day where we can get together and shoot some photos with the cross code war AFL versus NRL.
You know which code's going to win.
Yeah, NRL easily. We all know this. Anyway, moving on.
Melbourne wins all the time. You should know this.
Go on.
Okay, so my number 3 is Marvel Legend Gore the God Butcher.
Oh, wow.
Comic version. I absolutely love this figure. Not only for the actual figure itself, but I loved the storyline that this came from. The storyline that was something that brought me back into comics when, after a very, very long time, and was one of the first comics I started reading again. which was the Mighty Thor made by Jason Aaron. This figure is actually a really good interpretation of the comic version, unlike the movie version that we had. But I understand why they didn't do it, but that's okay. This goes well with my whole Mighty Thor run that I've got. So I've got Marvel Legend Mighty Thor, and I just need a couple more figures that need to come out. But that's all good, and I love that. Number 2, another one from. This is a movie figure. This is a Figure Arts Mighty Thor.
Nice.
So the from the Thor: Love and Thunder movie.
Nice. Natalie Portman.
Yeah, Natalie Portman. All right. So
Yeah.
I do like her with the helmet on rather than no helmet. You can change it up. You can change arms, hands, everything. I didn't know what to expect when I picked it up. I like the look of it. When I opened it up, I was amazed by it. It was such a nice articulation figure. It's got the cape is all cloth. The amount of accessories it comes with as well, it's fantastic. Hence the reason why I've got as my number 2 for the year.
Nice.
My number 1 though is I don't know how many fans of anime we have here, but this is an anime figure. This is the Robot Spirits Side Ava, Evangelion Unit 8 Gamma.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Very
That's
good.
cool.
That's amazing.
So this is by far my favorite figure for the year.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so sick.
So
What's
amount of
the shield
articulation-
thing called?
So that's it's part of the AT field that they
Right,
have
yes,
in the
yeah.
series, which is like a personal shield, sort of.
Awesome.
So this is from the movie series that they've been releasing, and they finally finished over the last, I reckon it would have been 10 years, something like that.
Yeah.
Some people weren't happy with the last movie. I loved it, and the character that was introduced in the series, which is the one that is for Mari, one of my favorite characters in the whole series now.
Awesome.
She has that sass, and it also comes up with in her Avas that she uses as well. That as well is perfect figurine for the adaptation of that movie. Not only that, again, the accessories it comes in with, you can change up the head, you can change up the arms, you can change up everything of that. You can pose it in nearly any position that you want. It's fantastic.
Quite an eclectic top 3 there. I see that with the honorable mention. So quite a nice selection. You certainly have very.
You've always said, Clinton, I've got a very eclectic range of toy collection.
Yeah, interesting. Very nice. Okay, well that's
amazingly no Transformers.
Yes,
wow.
stunningly.
What's going on? I wanted this whole thing to be Transformers. Man. What's going on? Okay, well, cool. Thanks for that. Let's move on to Mr. William Siegel Jones. I'm hoping let me guess. I'm hoping some Star Wars going on.
Yeah, boy.
Yeah, you know what? I'm a Star Wars fiend, and it's a Star Wars heavy list. So, kicking it off with the honorable mention is Figure and Dan. Finally, we have the platform to build the Cantina Band, the modal nodes. The figure itself isn't so exciting. It's fairly basic.
Name?
Yeah, the modal
Yeah,
nodes.
yeah, that's
that's
a name.
great.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
That is a
iconic.
fantastic looking figure for such a unknown character.
Yeah.
Well,
Like
it's not
the figure itself.
Yeah, but let's go on, Will. Go on.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, go on.
The figure itself is fairly basic, but like this new head sculpt is just so iconic and looks bang on to the original trilogy bits.
He's so
And
hot.
this particular figure comes with 3 instruments, and I've chosen this one. I'll just call it the big flute, and it also comes with this medium flute and a small flute.
Please be a small flute. Yes.
So
Nice.
Can they all join up to form a giant
A
flute?
mega flute.
oh,
Mega
actually,
flute.
that's going to be in the custom. So
A shoulder-mounted
particular
mega
version-
flute.
The deluxe version comes with the rest of the instruments and accessories, which I was unfortunately not able to get. But the good thing about that is you only need to get one of those, and then army build the rest of the band with the mainline bike
Which
series.
is how many, Will?
8.
Oh, close.
7?
Yeah, boom.
I thought it was 8.
No, it's
Is there really
most
that
people
many
say
in the
6,
scene?
but
I thought it was like 3.
no, there's 7 in the band.
The 7 in the band.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. But
So-
at least you only have to get one deluxe version, so you don't want to pay the extra price for all
Yeah,
7 of them. Then you can just get these, which I actually picked this up for like $32 at Big W on sale. So that's
Nice.
a winning.
Cool.
Yeah. Honorable mention is Figure and Dan, iconic figure. Next up, we have my number 3, which is the 501st Jet Trooper from the Battlefront 2 Gaming Greats line. And yeah, anyone who knows me is aware that I love clone troopers and I'll collect any and all clones. And this one in particular is just incredible. It uses some parts of the new and improved body, such as the torso and the new head, but the lower half is the old sculpt. So it's kind of like the middle ground of the new body and the old one. And
The old feet stand better anyway.
yeah, that's true. Yeah. So yeah, it does have a little bit extra room in the arms as well, because these are slightly bigger than the newer body.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just love the accents and the striking color scheme on this design, like these small little red arrows on the helmet, and like it really just stands out on the shelf amongst the rest of my 501st collection, like especially being on this flight stand. Yeah, it really just stands out. So it's nice to be able to utilize a flight stand.
Nice.
And it's also just a really fun character to play in the video game. And it had some great appearances in Clone Wars Season 7. So yeah, really, really happy with this guy.
Come on, tell us tell us really how happy are you? Like super happy.
Oh, so happy. I'm 501.
You're 501 happy.
Yeah, I'm 501 happy.
Well said.
501 meters of happiness. Okay.
What's next on the list?
So, next on the list, number 2 is the Bad Batch Echo.
Yep.
Nice.
If it will focus.
What a great show that is.
Oh yeah. And what a character arc this guy has had too. Like from a shiny on the outpost of something, I forget the name, like in the first season of Clone Wars, and then like worked his way up to an ARC trooper, and
Then a cyborg.
then perceived KIA, and then resurfaced as a cyborg clone that was
Kidnapped.
welcomed into the Bad Batch.
So cool. So mad.
So yeah, like all the Bad Batch figures have been amazing. Like even Wrecker made it into my top 3 list last year, and Echo is no different. Like great sculpting, details, and paint apps, and like
I like Omega as well. Omega's great.
you can remove this helmet here as well, which is kind of cool how it just like connects into
that's
these.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Like these, I don't know, these life support things that are probably keeping him alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, you just like clip it back on there. Yeah, really cool details. And like this thing, I don't think we saw this part as much in the series, but like you mostly see him with his screwdriver hand.
Very nice.
But yeah, really cool figure. The Bad Batch line is very, very nice.
And the Bad Batch show was amazing too, including the
And
latest
the Bad
episode,
Batch
which
show.
is amazing.
Yes, I haven't actually caught up with season 2 yet.
So no
I-
Oh,
spoilers.
dude, get up to the new
no
episode.
spoilers.
Best episode ever.
I want to try and binge it. I think. I don't know. I always feel like waiting from week to week sucks. So I just want to. I think I'll wait and binge the whole lot of it.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so my top figure of the year. How good is it when your favorite characters become great figures?
Yeah.
I actually finally got around to opening this guy last week, and it was in my unopened pile of shame for a while, admittedly. And in the first 10 seconds of opening it, I was laughing with joy of how good he is, and it really just like ignited that spark of collecting again. And yeah, I instantly knew he was my top figure in 10 seconds, and that is
Yeah.
Nice.
Fucking hell.
That looks amazing.
Oh man, I hope it focuses.
Yeah.
That's nice.
You may have to take it off. Maybe you got face to take on your camera. That's all right.
I do not
Very
know
nice.
how to do that.
He's
That's
nice,
good.
man.
Yeah.
A minute ago, maybe if I block the light.
Oh, you got to block your face, baby. Hey, speaking of igniting interest for
Yeah,
for
there you
fig-
go. You got him.
Rob was going on your number 2. He says, I may have to get this Echo figure. So before
Oh
you go,
yeah,
yeah, so it looks like
Yeah.
you sparked someone's interest.
I recommend it.
I would definitely recommend it, and also getting the rest of the team as well. Yeah,
But
more.
Maul,
Yes.
Kenobi.
Kenobi.
Yeah,
I'm just gonna
excellently.
throw it in.
That
Tell
was
us-
lackluster.
sorry, well, tell us why this is your number 1, just quickly again.
Yeah, so just all-time favorite character, really. Excellently voiced by Sam Witwer in the Clone Wars series, and actually they did motion capture with the original Maul, Ray
Yeah.
Park.
Ray Park
they
came
did-
back.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did motion capture with him, so they can animate more like the lightsaber fight scenes into the show, which was incredible. And yeah, just the detail in his face, the tattoos, the eyes, like it doesn't do it justice. You need to see it in person. Like it really, the detail in the eyes, you can really just tell he has that psychopathic
That figure
look in him.
flanked by super commandos is so awesome.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
spot on to the show. Like he's really been plucked out of the animated series, but with the Black Series sort of realistic take on it. Yeah, just a great presence.
Very good. Excellent. Oh, well,
So, yeah, top figure of the year.
nice. Very good.
Maul.
Okay, let's move on to Mr. Jason Murray. Let's hear his wants. Not top 3, but was it wants or
I haven't. I don't have a top list. Like I can't. So I can't do top
I just
lists.
can't
Right?
do a top 3, man. I can't do a top 3. Come on, man. What do you expect? Come on.
Can't do it. Can't do it.
Can't do it. All right.
As you might expect, I'm all Transformers all the time. So there's a couple of things that I want to draw attention to. So this is kind of my honorable mentions list. The first thing is the Shattered Glass line of Transformers, where the bad guys are good and the good guys are bad. So I've got 2 of the most recent releases here. There's Shattered Glass Soundwave, who is a brilliant white color scheme and sort of blue highlights on him.
Soon to be yellow.
Sorry, soon to be yellow. Yes.
Yeah.
This is sort of the Earth mode Soundwave mold, which we've been waiting to get a second shot at after the Netflix release a couple of years ago. Finally reused it for the Shattered Glass series, and this is Slicer. This is one of the reasons I wanted to bring out the Shattered Glass stuff is because the line has done double duty this year. On the one hand, you've got they all fell over. On the one hand, you've got Soundwave, who is straight up a Shattered Glass figure, but Slicer is not originally a Shattered Glass figure, and so what Hasbro has been doing with that line this year is they've been taking some figures that they might have put in Gen Select as some obscure repaints or some special editions, and they've been shoving them into the Shattered Glass line because it gives them a chance to get them on retail shelves with an open box. And they've heard complaints from retailers saying that, you know, they don't like the closed box of Gen Selects. And so we've seen the number of Gen Selects really plummet this year. And I think that's where they've thrown some figures into the Shattered Glass line that might not have otherwise gone in there. So the Shattered Glass line it's always been a highlight of mine. I've got, if I wave up properly like a TV weather girl, I've got a Shattered Glass area on my shelves up here, so I've been slowly filling that out over the last couple of years as things come out. The other honourable mention that I wanted to give. Oh no, there's a couple more honourable mentions.
No, just let's go to the top three, mate. Let's go to the three.
I'm not
How many
done.
honourable mentions do you want to do? Come on.
I'm not done. The other honourable mention is not this. It's the other piece from that set, which is the Alpha Trion. It was an excellent remake of the Studio Series Scourge figure. Just the color scheme works. Everything about it just works. You might just sort of go, yeah, the sort of the wings or whatever don't quite work, but they do. It's fine. He's really nice, really slick paint job, and just really looks the goods. And the other thing, which some of us who've been around Transformers for a long time will have been waiting for, managed to get this guy just before Christmas. The pink G1 Hot Rod is finally here. Transformers fans have been waiting for absolute years for it. This is how he originally appeared. Actually, it's not quite. His color scheme for the color scheme in the original catalog was sort of a pinkish color, and Hasbro's taken the original G1 figure. They've re-released it this year with a movie accurate color scheme. So it's been a while since I bought a G1 Hot Rod, and I was very happy to do it. Onto actual non-honorable mentions, top figures of the year. I am going to cheat. I'm going to cheat on one of them, but first thing I'm going to bring up is the little green UFO that could the dumpiest UFO of all. We are talking Legacy Velocitron Cosmos, one of the hardest figures to get if you're a Transformers fan in Australia because he was short packed. If you can get him, well worth it. Excellent figure. Really just nails both modes. He's a little bit different in dimensions and the like to what you might have seen him in the cartoon or his G1 toy, but the Hasbro's been on a bit of a tear updating the mini bots and releasing new versions of them over the last few years. This is just simply the most recent one. As I mentioned, really difficult to get a hold of, but if you can get a hold of him, really recommend you do it. As to why he's difficult to get a hold of, he was originally meant to be a repaint of another figure, the Kingdom Warpath mold, and I say a repaint, I mean a retool. If he was a retool of Warpath, he wouldn't be as sought after as he is. It'd be a little bit weird, little bit, not quite right. And so they packed him as one piece per carton of 8. And then after deciding that case allocation, they then went, actually, you know what? We've got enough budget in the line, because please understand the budget, everyone. We've got enough budget in the line to do a new mold for him. Goodness me, what a mold it was! It was utterly fantastic. The other thing that's come out this year, and I'm only going to bring up one of them by way of actually bringing them up, the Legacy Stunticons.
Ooh.
Very well received figures, right up to the last one when everyone's just gone, what the hell is that? It's a weird retool for the final piece, but was going really well up to that point. Australia got the first release of Motormaster in the world. We got the Big W toy sale in the middle of the year. It seems like an eternity ago that we were all running out to Big W stores trying to find Motormaster, but certainly find him we did. The Stunticons have been a fantastic high quality set of releases all year long, which I think just speaks to the strength of the line. There's just been hit after hit in the Legacy series this year. And my final pick is not a legacy figure, and you can hear me strain as I pick him up because he is just sitting in front of my computer here. We did bring him out on the I think it was on the round table earlier in the year, but I'm going to bring him out for another run, which is the Ultimetal S Galvatron. This is a non-transforming transformer, so he is essentially an action master. But who had Galvatron earlier? Was it you, Mikey? Yeah, you had Fans Toys Sovereign, right?
Oh no, that was
Simon did,
Simon's
but
pick.
yeah.
No, it was Simon's pick. And we said he turns into a cannon, whatever. Like, who cares what he turns? What he turns
I don't
into
transfer. It's
when
not
he
worth
looks
it.
this good.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you
So
like
that's
Lush, man.
Is that all diecast goodness?
No, it's not. It's not all diecast. There's a lot of diecast in here, but it is definitely not all diecast. He is, however, extremely heavy. He's not a cartoon version of Galvatron. He's the Studio Ox version of Galvatron, which is a studio that occasionally sort of contributes designs and the like to Takara's Transformers stuff. So he's a little bit different to what you might expect. So you can sort of see his pointy boots here, his ridiculously long knee guards that, if he was to do a high kick would probably actually impale himself. Crazy points on the head as well. And I gotta say, like, let's see, if I move this way, like, I kind of feel like his cannon should be mounted on his upper arm instead of his lower arm, but there you go. That's simply where it is. And of course, as you can see hanging there, he's got a nice little matrix hanging off a chain. The chain is included in the box as well. So yeah, the Ultimetal S line, I think, is a welcome return. The Ultimetal line was a couple of years old, and a few years old, and they've scaled it down and come back with figures that are a few $100s instead of nearly $1,000. And it's been a welcome return because I certainly didn't have the budget to add the $1,000 figures onto my shelf, but I've got the Rodimus and the Galvatron in this line. Nice. So that's some of my top Transformers of the year. I'm looking around on the desk here. I don't think I've forgotten anything that I wanted to say.
Money well spent. Money well spent.
Absolutely.
Love it. Okay, Andrew, on to you, buddy. Let's go our Mark Nichols, eh? What do you reckon?
Good work. Ready to take the ball up for a run.
Yeah.
My honourable mention has to be here any day now. Unfortunately, he was released at the back end of last year, but I don't have him in hand, unfortunately. But it's got to be any day. He's just been released at the distributor, so I pre-ordered him a while ago. It's the Hot Toys Boba Fett book. Is it the back end of the Mandalorian season 2? I think it was when Boba Fett ended up on the throne. So it's Hot Toys Boba Fett and the throne.
Oh,
nice.
So that's going to be any day now. So I'll make sure I post up some photos onto Toy Reel when he gets here to show that he's definitely my honourable mention. My top 3 in no particular order. Probably one of the most recent acquisitions that I have. I tend to spend a bit of time over at Clinton's house staring into his 4 Horsemen shelves. I love everything that they're doing. I never jumped on the line early enough, and the cost involved is probably a bit too much beyond me. But the Figure Obscura figures, the Headless Horseman was awesome. Missed out on that one. But this one, I don't know, just appealed to me. So I picked him up.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice. Ho, ho, ho.
It's the Santa Claus. And he
Oh,
comes
holy
like
crap.
the Four Horsemen nailed it. There's so many good accessories that he came with. He actually came with 2 of the Mythic Legion's helmets from the Knights. His body is actually a Knight body. So when you peel the real cloth suit back, so every layer of his suit is real cloth as well.
Wait, are you saying Santa's buff under all that?
He's a knight. He's got full knight armor underneath. So it's a Mythic Legion figure. He comes with 2 heads. He comes with the shorter beard and then the longer beard. But like, he's got a sack filled with toys. This is genuinely filled with toys. There's like a rubber ducky and stuff in there. His
Santa be
his
packing.
cane, his cane with the oil lamp. He's got another bag on his back that has, you know, all the sculpted toys on it. He has his little drum hanging off his belt with some drumsticks tucked away in there.
That's so cool.
The cloth.
That's such amazing detail on this.
It's incredible. Like I mean, I wish my camera would pick it up a little better. The lining on the suit is just insane. Gold trim. They've put so much work into it. Every single piece of white on the highlights here has a wire inside it, so you can sculpt. Yeah, every single piece, like down to each bit of the coat. The hat, so the hat sits properly. His bit like around his neck here, the extra bit, his sleeves, every single bit of white highlight has wire in it, so you can sculpt it. He's an absolutely incredible figure. So yeah, that's.
No, you can see so many different things. That,
Oh, he's incredible. He's an incredible figure. So yeah, really happy with that. It's probably the worst thing I could have done because I mean I see how good they are now. I'll probably fall down that hole thanks to Clinton. So
he has a habit of doing that.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. I know it. I know it too well. But that's all right. So then my next figure in the lineup is one that holds a lot of nostalgia for me from when I was a kid. Very highly anticipated as well, going back to sort of the list that Clinton spoke about earlier on about, you know, what makes your top figures. So the next one for me is the Defenders of the Earth Mandrake figure.
Oh, you bastard. Where did you get that from?
So that was, I think I got it from Joel from Robo Toys.
Oh, okay.
So, yes. So I pre-ordered them as soon as they came out. Very, very highly anticipated because, you know, we had the Phantom, Flash Gordon, and Ming the Merciless like last year. But like I said, I remember going into Nepean Square when I was, you know, I would have been 8 or 9 years old and seeing the original Defenders of the Earth figures on the shelf and just wanting every single one of them. They were just iconic. That cartoon was one of the ones that and Mask, they were my two big cartoons when I was growing up. But for the figure itself, NECA have, you know, they've nailed this line. The likeness to Mandrake is completely insane. Again, my camera's probably not picking him up as good as he could be, but he's absolutely brilliant. Everything about it, like to the design of his shoes. You can see, you know, even the little black dots on the shoe, they look like proper dress shoes. Like they absolutely nailed it. Again, the cape is soft goods, but as you can see, there's wire inside. I love a articulated soft good. I love it because it shows that they care. It shows that they want the figure to look the way that they want it on the shelf. You put a Jedi cape on a figure and no wires in it. It just hangs and it looks awkward. This, like, you know what I mean? Every bit of it looks like it's
very
part
dynamic.
Of the figure. So I love it. That's my number 2.
Rob says I need to find that Phantom figure. You better
100%.
do it, Rob.
But there's two different versions of the Phantom now as well. There's the King something or other line, and then there's the Defenders of the Earth line as well. So my number 1, I'm in quite a little restricted spot here, so I unfortunately can't fit it. He is sitting directly behind Clinton there. My number 1, it's 100% the HasLab Galactus. That figure is everything I've been waiting for in a Galactus figure. I've got him out on display in my lounge room with all of the heralds around him, with the Fantastic Four doing a bit of battle with him and all that. So the size for me is awesome. We're never going to get a true Marvel Legends scale Galactus. Clinton and I have played around with the HeroClix figures, the old Marvel tabletop game. They're very detailed figures, so taking photos of them with that scale Galactus works really, really well. But even just with the Marvel Legends stuff standing around him, everything about it is perfect. Is the light up functions, the different face pieces, the armor, the color, the way he looks like he's just straight out of the pages of the comics. He's number one in my books. And yes, he was expensive. He's just a big action figure, and he cost a hell of a lot of money. But to have him on display, he's one that I'm very, very pleased that I got. So he's my number one.
Was it something? Did you think that the amount of hype surrounding that figure, and then when you got it in hand, was justifiable?
100%. For me, 100%. Because we've seen, like when we did the last talk, we saw the different Galactuses that we've had. The Marvel Universe works slightly well with the Marvel Universe figures. This one works better with the Marvel Universe figures. But like the Marvel Legends Galactus, it was awesome in the day collecting it and getting all the bits and putting them together, and that was great. But when you stood him on a shelf, he wasn't imposing. It was like the Watcher. You know what I mean? Like the Watcher isn't an imposing figure, but you can notice him in a crowd. And that's what that Galactus is. This Galactus is imposing. You put him out on display and he stands over every other Marvel Legends figure that you've got. And that's exactly what Galactus should be. So very, very happy to have him in the collection.
I think this really segues really nicely into the top three in my honorable mention. So I'm glad that he's made it into your top three. I think there's several of us here actually. Talon also has a Galactus, so I want to quickly hear your quick thoughts on.
Yeah, he's standing over there. I don't think Andrew lies much about him. It's unfortunate that we won't get a Galactus in a proper scale, but for obvious reasons. But yeah, no, I think they absolutely smashed it out of the park. I just feel, I felt mainly the reason why Spider-Man was my top pick is just because Spider-Man's my favorite superhero. So anytime they can bring out a Spider-Man figure that's better than that's just near perfect, I think it's very hard to top that for me personally. But going back to Galactus, I mean the price is justifiable now when you see what it goes for on the aftermarket.
HasLab stuff.
It's pretty much doubled.
Up.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's like especially you put him in a display, and yeah, he is imposing, like Andrew said, and he does that job. So, and yeah, HasLab is the best route to go for getting was the best route to go to getting the best possible Galactus figure. And yeah, I think they definitely did that. So yeah, I'm definitely happy I got him. And happy I got him at release as opposed to now.
Nice. Okay. Cool. So on that note, my honorable mention actually is Galactus. I think Andrew has summed it up very, very well. I was on the fence initially about whether or not that was going to be my honorable mention, because I think for me, one of the highlights for me last year that was released was Razor's Crest. I think we did that on a round table. So it was a real hard thing to decide whether or not, and they're two massive HasLab offerings. But I have to say, as much as a Star Wars fan as I am, I think Galactus was certain. So definitely made that cut. And as you can see, there's been several photos that we've done on the channel since. I think there's like one initial one that came out recently we did, and then the thumbnail for this best of 2022 is actually a photo that I shot about last week. So yeah, there you go. All right, well, that was my honorable mention. Shall I start with my top three?
Dive in.
Let's do it. So I'm not sure that you guys can see this. This was something we had discussed, and it was something that I talked about in, I think it was a roundtable discussion.
I think so.
Yeah. So my first pick is a figure we unboxed on a roundtable discussion in I think it's September last year. For me, this was highly anticipated. And to sort of put in some context, I'm a massive fan of all this classic Ray Harryhausen stop motion stuff, right? So that encompass mythical creatures, sword and sorcery. So getting something reminiscent of a centaur now in toy form is just amazing. As I said before, in September, Greek mythology and folklore, centaurs were creatures that had an upper body of a human and then a lower body of and legs of a horse. So just to give you a quick rundown quickly, Mythic Legion's lore, he belongs to a certain faction, which is based on the elves. His race is a centaur, and his role in the elven kingdom or Xylonis flock is basically a stable lord. The toy is incredible. I mean, it doesn't come with a whole lot of accessories, but it comes with several things. It comes with a longbow. This longbow here, I'm not sure whether you can see it. What I'll do is I'll put it up to the camera. That's a longbow. No, you can't see it.
Is that actual string on the bow?
Yeah, there's actual string on the bow.
Wow.
And it comes with also, it's pretty amazing. It comes with all these little bits. So it comes with quivers and this little pouch. As you can see on the figure itself, it comes also with this trident, which he's holding, and then the long elven sword. Like I said, it's highly anticipated for me. It has a universal appeal, which I think is wonderful. And Mythic Legions are not known for their articulation, but their character development, their sculpts, their paint details are really indicative of the Four Horsemen in terms of what they output and what they produce. As a figure, it's generally very robust and a good use of parts, a mixture of different parts. It's certainly a very chunky toy, and it feels like a high-quality built toy. So when you pick it up, it actually is very, very heavy. As far as proportions are concerned, the anatomy, the aesthetics, it portrays, if you look at it from certain angles, portrays a very powerful and wise kind of stoic character and demeanor as well. Beautifully sculpted details. When I look at things like that, I go for toys that provide a sense of realism. So if you look at the sculpted details in terms of the leather parts, in the pauldrons, in the gauntlets, in the buckles, in the belts, the loincloth, the headpiece, right down to the hair in the centaur, as well as the veins in the horse proportions, and also all the fur in the hooves and things like that. So in essence, this figure is really technically like a mini sculpture. That's what it is. So this is, like, no particular order, is my top three. And Andrew will probably attest to this. He's seen all the Mythic Legions in the flesh. So
it's insane how good the Four Horsemen do of sculpting these genre of figures.
Yeah, I know, and I didn't miss out. Actually, to be quite frank, I missed out on the Figure Obscura Headless Horseman, because I think that would have easily made it into my top three. So I'm sort of kicking myself for not getting that.
I agree.
He's dummy thick.
Sorry?
He's dummy thick, super thick.
He's
in the
thick.
back end. Yeah.
Yes, he's very
He has
thick.
great assets.
Yeah, very great assets.
Literally.
Certainly good.
Store the weapons in the trunk.
Moving right on. My next, my number two, like I said, no particular order, is Batman: The Dark Knight Returns, Superman by Mayfix. Not sure whether you can see that. Let me just get some focus on the figure itself. There we go. Yep. Excellent. So Mayfix at times can be considered very expensive. They've had the initial runs for Mayfix had some QC issues in the early days, but to me, when they address those issues, that strikes me as a really good company, and a company that listens to its collectors and also its customers. The value can be justified. I mean, it's a very expensive figure, and generally most Mayfix figures are very expensive, but you can justify them now with the build quality and the incredible attention to detail and the huge amount of accessories that normally ships with one particular figure. So this offering is slightly on the leaner side, pun intended, because he's quite a lean little guy over here. But the likeness to the source material is, I mean, everyone knows that I'm a Frank Miller fan and a Dark Knight Returns fan. So, it's like Frank Miller's art is jumping literally out of the page into like the
Yeah.
three-dimensional form. So, you know, if you look at this, you kind of go, it's so reminiscent. It's so awesome. The colors are gorgeous. The lines are very nice and clean. Like I'm looking at this, you know, when I open them, sometimes you get certain flash bits or paint bleed on some of these figures. Mafex are, again, always improving their lines, their paint detail, incredible, amazing. Their point of difference really has been soft goods. So, you know, we talked about wide capes, so wide soft goods, wide cape technology. I think personally it's something that Mafex probably led the charge with. They were the ones that kind of decided to put really a nice wide cape stuff. And I think then everyone else followed suit. Okay. So other than that, you know, it ships here, like it has additional portraits, I like to call them. And one of the things that they have here is separate heads. So with all the different lines, you have different head sculpts that are included in the line itself. For me personally, I prefer this. This is to me like the quintessential Superman, compared to, let's say, the Hush Superman that Mafex brought out as well. So yeah, for me, this is number, like I said, number 2, but in no particular order. So yeah, that's Superman himself. Cool. Next one.
Beautiful.
It is. I can't wait.
I hope they do like the mutants, and so we can army build them, and the King Mutant, like the leader. That would be amazing.
Oh,
That's
you
an
know,
expensive army build.
it is an expensive army build, so it ships it all. Like it's quite lean again. Like I said, for something that comes with accessories, because most Mafex figures do ship with a lot of accessories. But actually, going back to NECA, I think still the best value. The amount of accessories that they pack into their figures, particularly with their Ninja Turtles line, is insane. It's just incredible.
I will say that in that Turtles line, like you'll get accessories that appeared in like for a split second in one episode of the cartoon included with each of the releases. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, like Baby Shredder with the what was it, the Krang android body and stuff. They're insane. They know what they're doing. They're collectors, you know, making figures for collectors. So
yeah, absolutely.
And my last figure for 2022. Let me see if I can get this in focus. Okay, let's get him in flight pose. Okay, now this guy, this was a last minute addition. I'm an art about it, but you know, I'm a big Turtle fan. I'm sure there are a couple of Turtle fans. I know Andrew's a big Turtle fan. Talon's a big Turtle fan. This is the offering from a company called Fury Toys. So it ships in a sort of very nondescript box. Very, I don't know. Sometimes it just almost looks like it's like homemade. Wow. So it's actually a third-party toy. It's called the Ancient Power Samurai Animal Spring 112 Scale Collection Figure by Fury Toys. This is their version of Leonardo. Okay. Small in size, but massive in value. And I'll tell you where the value is. I will bring the figure closer up. The paint detail is incredible for a figure this size. It's slightly on the smaller side. I like to say, to me, aesthetically, it's an interesting artistic interpretation of an Eastman-inspired turtle coupled with a movie realistic version. So it's very reptilian. It actually looks like. Let me just see if I can bring that closer. I'll bring that. It
actually is the Eastman turtle. Peter and Kevin Eastman turtles. Yeah. They are quite small in the comics. They're not super big.
I will say, turtles have always been on the smaller side scale-wise, I feel.
Yeah. So you can see in flight pose, very, very nice, very nice.
That figure is so awesome to have in hand. That was.
Oh, you guys saw it. That's right. You and Talon saw this. Yeah, exactly. So not super articulated as I would have hoped for, but the additional accessories really make up for it. I mean, and again, what's interesting is this figure is not necessarily comic or franchise inspired, but the reason why it made my top 3 for 2022 is the paint, the battle weathered look. It is a different looking turtle for once. It is for once. It's not the same look, you know, the same offerings that you get from whether it's the cartoon stuff or animated stuff or even movie stuff. extremely reptilian inspired aesthetic, and I can certainly see the remaining turtles actually being released. In fact, I think there was a recent announcement that an additional one's going to be done. As far as value for money is concerned, it comes with a whole bunch of things. Comes with his dragon swords, which is also a different name for katanas. So you can see the katanas there. Has very interesting, actually, let me see if I can just quickly pull this out. Has Vigorian flails is much sort of like a specialized weapon. There you can see over here. Always used for more close quarters combat, for crowd control, not necessarily something for long range. And then obviously, for those of you guys familiar with weapons, the kunais, these little things are nice. They're not really also designed for what we call throwing pieces or weapons. Instead, it's primarily actually a tool that most ninjas and you know, these guys use for stabbing and thrusting. So it's more like implements to do that. So very nice variety of different things that is included. And also, last but not least, it actually gave us this really cool sort of option to have the Leonardo head on it. It actually ships as a samurai head, but then you can actually now, I think it's a way of them having to
avoid copyright.
Yeah,
Yeah.
infringement, correct. Intellectual property and sort of
license issues.
yeah, exactly. So well, so there you go. That is my top 3 for 2022. Now we actually got our last honorable mention as far as the missing member in terms of his top 3 and honorable mention that we should
I have
really
them.
look at is Dave Bottrill. So yeah, let's tell us what Dave Bottrill's offerings are for his favorite offerings are for 2022.
All right, he's in the comments now, so hopefully he can come up with an honorable mention now. Honorable mention still to decide. Yeah, hi Dave. And I can speak on behalf of his 3 figures that he chose. So coming up third, we have Shadowglass Blaster. So the regular blaster, Voyager class blaster that we had in Kingdom and Legacy is awesome, and it's even cooler in grey. And there we go. Studio 686 Sludge is his honorable mention, and that's the Dinobot, the leader class Dinobot Sludge. Yeah, he's just a cool Dinobot, and it's a good representation of the character. So Blaster is a great toy in Shadowglass colors. Comes with Eject, who's in translucent colors, translucent red, I think, which is really cool. And yeah, he's actually a really cool character in the comic as well. I don't know if he's read it, but he is cool. And yeah, just a good toy. Coming in at second, we've got HasLab Victory Saber. There's a lot to be said about that. I think we all pretty much know by now. It's a really amazing feat of engineering and figure from Hasbro, from their HasLab division. I mean, yeah, it's just it was going to be my honorable mention, but then again, I remembered I had the custom that was made for me this year, so that just slightly beat it. No, it beat it by a lot, but anyway. Yeah, so really cool. Pretty much the best representation of Star Saber and Victory Leo. Probably the best we're ever going to get. It's even better than the Masterpiece. It's been said. And yeah, that's really cool. And coming in at number 1 for Dave, this is also coming in at my list. If there was a top 5 list, this guy probably would have made it with Victory Saber. Is Leader Class Shadowglass Ultra Magnus. He's really cool. He's a really diverse figure. The fact that if you're not hugely into Shadowglass, like I am, there comes with 2 heads, the more skeletal demonic head that Shadowglass Ultra Magnus is known to having, or it does come with your typical Ultra Magnus head, which you can actually turn into Delta Magnus, which is a G1 character and not a Shadowglass character if you're not so inclined to that. So the fact that they did that, I thought was really cool. It's just a diverse figure, and just a really cool, fun toy. The fact that you can have like the cab turn into the kind of Optimus-looking robot mode, and then piece together the actual Ultra Magnus mode is really cool.
Comes with a lot of accessories. Comes with a matrix that doesn't really incorporate, but still cool. Comes with the cool sword and axe, and yeah, just a really cool color scheme. It's probably, in my opinion, the best Shatterglass figure we have out of that line. And there's a lot of good ones in that. So yeah, so that is his list. Number 1, Shatterglass Ultra Magnus.
Excellent. Nice.
I do think that that Ultra Magnus mold has served a lot over the last 4 years, because it
has.
started all the way back in Siege. The Shattered Glass version is a repaint of the Kingdom Earth mode version that we got last year, the year before in 2021. So like, yeah, they've done a good job of bringing that up and giving it a fresh look with the Shattered Glass version. It's been received really well. It's been received way better than I thought it would have been, given the number of outings that mold has had.
Nice. Okay, excellent. Okay, let's try and wrap up. But I want to ask, before we wrap up, what everyone's thoughts in terms of year in review for 2022. There's certain things that I think were definitely notable. Before we close, I'm going to make mention of something, but also allude to the fact that there will be several episodes coming up to showcase some very nice products. But also, I think I want to do another episode purely on the sort of Bumblebee stuff. That's I think Mike and I will discuss.
We need to 100%.
Yeah. But yeah, how's everyone's 2022 in review in terms of what you thought, not necessarily just toys, but something that you thought was a highlight for you in terms of franchises and movies and ultimately things alluding to toys?
I think
tell
for me, I think the standout for me is the Hasbro's decision to move away from plastic windows and all that sort of stuff to purely cardboard. That was an interesting decision to make. With I personally, I find the reactions amusing. Like, I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to stuff. Like, I'm just happy to collect and have things sitting on my shelf. But the reaction was, it was amusing. It was a source of jocularity for me for a couple of times. There was a few comments online that I was like, wow. So yeah, I find that to stick out for 2022.
I think that's an interesting choice, because I think we've definitely seen a bit of a dip in sales on particular lines that Hasbro makes, but I don't think the closed box packaging is responsible for that. I think the rise of prices is
100%.
I do think that Hasbro doesn't do this stuff lightly, and I reckon they would have done their market research before they made the
most definitely, and it makes sense. I mean, personally, again, I'm very easygoing when it comes to collecting toys. I'm just happy to have stuff sitting on the shelf, and if it looks like it does in the comic or in the movie or in the cartoon, then that's me. I'm very, very easily pleased. But it makes sense not to cardboard breaks down and plastic's not the easiest thing to break down. So I know it upsets a few people and whatnot, but yeah.
What about you, Talon? What were your highlights for 2022?
I mean, in terms of toys, I mean, the things I collect, well, what I collected the most by far was obviously Legends, and I think overall it was a very strong year by the Hasbro team, by the guys there again. Obviously all the 60th anniversary Spider-Man stuff was done really good. Had some X-Men VHS figures that were well received by many. I know that Cyclops that recently came out is very highly regarded.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall it was a strong year. You guys mentioned the price increases. That's something that was unfortunately inevitable and something that we can't avoid. So
it was very strange for Hasbro and Marvel Legends as well. Like, there were waves that were like cheaper, like old school cheaper, and then waves that were like this. There was a Spider-Man wave where like the RRP was like $60 or something like that. Which,
all the Spider-Man 60th stuff was really expensive, and it was really jarring when it came out at the same time as a BAF wave where everything's still $40.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
it was mind-boggling the difference. Like there were waves that were like $25 each, and then waves that were $60 each. So yeah.
I think what needs to be factored in is with Marvel and Star Wars is that they are expensive licenses to get a hold of. So,
Um,
yeah.
yeah. That look,
Yeah.
don't this next comment, don't knock Siren and I. We both agree. I think Joy Toy
love that.
Warhammer range was a big highlight for 2022.
Oh,
I
We
mean,
both love it.
these guys they went nuts. Like literally,
Clinton,
I've never seen
you
a
do
toy.
real, Clinton. You realize I want them toys now as well.
Mate,
Yeah,
if I can be a bad influence, I certainly have no qualms about it.
they don't miss on those Space Marine repaints.
Oh mate, it's all about
Every one of them.
it's all about repaints, and it's all about just about milking the shit out of those tools.
That's
depending
exactly
on
what
the
Warhammer's been about. It's in its
If-
in its entirety.
but the amount of stuff that they have released is incredible. Like seriously, just the sheer volume of all the vehicles, all the bikes, all the different factions, and it's incredible. It's
Can
nuts.
I just say it's like the creators of Warhammer just had like a coloring book for Space Marines, and they're like, yeah, we'll call those Blood Angels, and we'll call them Space Wolves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about your highlights, Cookie, for 2022? You think just make it nice, short, and sweet?
Yeah, so look, I think it's been a lot more hits than misses. I think it's a good time to sort of be a collector and a bad time. Again, like the prices increase, and look, I understand the economy, shit's gone bad basically, and we have to get that. But a lot of the time, it is kind of it's getting hard to collect stuff nowadays, especially with I find a lot of toys nowadays to have a lot of QC issues and things like breaking and stuff, and I hope hopefully Hasbro can lean away from clear plastic stuff because they really need to for Transformers, and especially with like the Robbie Reyes Ghost Rider, is that his name? Kind of a bad time to release that, like honestly, but
Yeah,
it's you know what, it's cool. We're living in a bit of a gold mine as we speak. We can go to a JB Hi-Fi, we can go to like certain Kmart's maybe, or like a Zing, and we can find a Wolverine, a classic Spider-Man, a good Iron Man. We can find a really nice Captain America and Hulk. It's widely available for us, and it's cool, like think about like maybe like 15 to like 10 years ago, it's pretty limited for us, especially I say for Australians, where it's like what you got is what you get basically, and we have to import these things. So it's cool, you can get all these things, it's like I can go to JB, it's like there's a old school movie Ironhide, there's an old school Jazz, there's all these characters that you can get, and if you're starting out, like it's a pretty good start, honestly, and especially with like Legacy and Marvel Legends.
Nice.
I think it's just really solid so far.
What about you, Siegel? Any highlights for yourself other than your mountain bike ventures?
Yeah, that's a good highlight.
What made you come back 2020? You know how like in 2020. Okay, I'm going to set the scene here. It's 2022. Let's go back. At some point during 2022, you at work, and then you get this notification on your phone saying, you got stuff waiting at home for you. I know we already talked about our top 3 and our honorable mentions, but surely the other bits and pieces or things like that. I tell you, I'll give you an example. Those shoes that I got, those Battle Cat shoes from Puma, awesome. One of the best things ever. Yeah. So what about you, Siegel? Tell me.
Yeah. Well, I have actually taken a step back from collecting a little bit and more sort of streamlined my collection to just sort of focus on like the Clone Wars line.
Yep.
In the Black Series, because like I have pretty much just about everything that I want from original trilogy and like the Bad Batch line, Mandalorian, Rebels. Like I pretty much completed what I wanted to complete there. But like moving forward for collecting, I just want to expand my Clone Wars collection and just not worry so much about the rest. So yeah, the highlights for me have been my top figures of this year, and also like shows like Andor and Obi-Wan, incredible shows.
Releases of some good shows. Yeah, absolutely.
What else? What else got released?
That's
I
right.
don't know. I think that's about it. Yeah.
Yep. Can discipline and have a streamlined collection. I wish I had your self control.
Yeah. Also, I am spending all of my money on mountain bikes now.
What about you, Mr. Siciliano?
Yeah. This year we've got something. We got something that I've been waiting a long time for, and that's a trailer for the newest Transformers movie. And not only has it been myself, but apparently everyone, because the trailer that Paramount put out is the most viewed Paramount trailer in history. And I've actually enjoyed watching people's reactions to the trailer and going through that. And it's just hyped me up for this movie that I've been looking forward to for ages. And yeah, I'm just really, really excited for what's to come out of that. And I'm really excited to do the Bumblebee show that we're going to do. So it actually can force me to go back and watch that movie again, because I absolutely adore that movie. And actually really discuss that movie and everything that belongs to it. So yeah, definitely the even though it was like really late in the year, it was definitely the Rise of the Beast trailer.
Oh, by the way, quickly, Rob Franklin, we got a couple of comments actually, and all the way from the US as well. Pancheesy, welcome, buddy. Pancheesy's got his very, very, very popular and very successful YouTube channel. I think he's been around for years, right, Talon? He goes, I would imagine
he's one of the ACBA boys.
ACBA boys, yep. Thank you for joining us. I would imagine the price flux was a product of rearranging the releases schedule so much. Great stream, by the way. Long-time fan of the channel, dude.
Very, very kind. Thank you.
That's very kind. That's a really nice endorsement. Thank you. You guys are
Thank you.
pretty amazing yourself. So thank you very much. I really appreciate that. That's very nice.
I would say probably correct.
Rob goes, as a Transformers fan, we are very much spoiled for choice this year, along with the regular Legacy series. We also had Shattered Glass, Studio Series Bumblebee, Studio Series 86, Generation Selects, Velocitrons, Speedio, Wreck and Rule, and Masterpiece. Something for everyone, even watching the Legacy series, reaching into the many different eras. At times, too many options, but options are good. I agree. Well said.
It's a golden age of Transformers collecting and most collecting.
Yeah,
toys as a whole.
The toys as a whole. Chris? What are your massive iconic moments for 2022? I mean, like I said, it's a year in review, so.
No, that's good. There is one moment in particular, New York Comic Con.
Yes.
So going to New York Comic Con, first time back there since COVID has hit. So that's 5 years ago. Last time I went. Not only as a fan of comics and toys, but also it was my first time actually being there as part of Toy Reel as well.
Nice.
So a lot of the pictures that came out of there that Clinton and Toy Reel posted were all from my camera.
That's right. So Chris was for those of you guys that don't know, Chris was our New York Comic Con correspondent, so to speak. You know, in the last stream, I mentioned something about the anatomy, and this is something I want to leave on a high as well for 2022 and going to 2023, because I always use the analogy of sport, and I know we have some massive sports fans here, and you know, the thing about Toy Reel and the anatomy, in which I always wanted to describe, was that it is like a team. So you have a team of, let's say, 11 players in the game of cricket. And you pick your best guys with the best temperament. So it's never about excluding people. It's always about including the right personalities and the right bunch of guys. So, you know, I'm very fortunate and very glad to have a whole bunch of you guys on board. And so, yeah, that's what it is. You know, it's all about team playing. So, yeah, anatomy and temperament, particularly with all you guys on board, and you guys contribute in your own way as well. So to me, that was my highlight. Having everyone's time and enthusiasm, is massive for me. So
heartwarming.
Thank you.
really, no, really, no, I'm not seriously. It takes a good bunch of guys, and you know what? Ultimately, we're all sitting here talking about things we enjoy most, and that is toys. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
And trying to then also try and live up to all the. I mean, every man and his dog's got a freaking YouTube channel now. They kind of go, well, we got to do it. And people say, oh, well, but I can't do it all. But everyone's doing it. Everyone's doing it, and it's good for the hobby. It's good for the hobby.
Mhm.
Can I
Jason,
just quickly say one thing quickly? Just
Yes.
going back on what Cookie was saying about the HasLab Ghost Rider, I believe
Yes.
it was. I was lucky enough to have been able to see that in person.
Mm.
That was an unbelievably good-looking figure. Unfortunately, a lot of people didn't want to get it and it didn't make it to HasLab production.
No doubt, it's beautiful. I love it, but it's just not worth that much money.
There was a lot of controversy on it. I think the team knew that they were. I think they knew it was a shot in the dark almost to try and get
up the hill.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's not that it was a bad figure or that Robbie Reyes is a bad character. I know a lot of people that enjoy Robbie Reyes' Ghost Rider story, but one, Ghost Rider is not one of Marvel's most popular franchises. Secondly, when it's not Johnny Blaze or Danny Ketch, it's very hard to win people over.
And especially when it's not a motorbike.
That as well.
Look,
down to your basics.
My hope
And
is
I don't think it helped the fact that the other figures that they added to it didn't help the.
Not at all.
No. Didn't make it as well. So.
And Galactus almost suffered the same consequences.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with their. I mean, obviously budget. Sorry that
like the Doomhead
popped out. Yeah, but I mean,
could have easily been another figure.
A Stardust, something that people will never ever want. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They're never going to be mainstream figures. You're never going to see an Airwalker. You're never going to see a Stardust.
Or a Redshift. Yeah,
exactly. You're not going to see them.
Why Unless not? They do like a Heralds of. They could have done like a Heralds of Galactus wave, but how much is that going to sell in the general market? Like it would do much better as part of stretch goals in a HasLab project.
100% correct. Just pick one instead of a stinking Doomhead and put it in there. But anyway.
I want to go back to some of the key moments, and for reference, Jason brings up a great point, and his thing for the year for 2022 was the appearance of figures at retail at JB Hi-Fi. You want to elaborate a bit on that, Jason?
Maybe.
Maybe, but he's still sounding like soundboard.
Yeah. But that's 100% correct. Having JB Hi-Fi enter in a big way, it was great.
I will say, this guy, my figure of the year, you can literally walk into JB Hi-Fi, pick him up for $50 odd.
There's so many in there. Like I was in there today. There's so much in there.
Two of mine the same.
There is a figure for every fan of everything. So the other day I walked in, there was Ninja Turtles, there's Transformers, there's
Avatar.
DC stuff.
Really cool.
There's everything.
So good.
It's a golden age.
Even like board games, I see like Hero Quest and stuff in there.
Pops.
Yeah,
there's so much stuff.
Yes.
Just but that's like a great thing to bring up there, Jace. That's 100% right.
JB Hi-Fi is a collector's dream, absolute dream for collectors.
I just wanted to say, Chris and Talon. So my final thing about the Robbie Reyes is all I hope is, because it's such a waste of a figure not to release, but I hope they can just release the base figure like they did with the recent Ghost Rider.
I will say that
they'll do
I believe some
They've
of the parts were used on the long shot figure. I want to say in the X-Men Retro Wave, as well as the one in the Mojo World set.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. And on that note, I think we done a nice roundup of 2022. I think everyone had their little favorites. Like I said, I'm sure there'll be at least another 7 in reserve in the tank. Could easily make it to your top 10.
Oh, absolutely.
So, but like I said, because there's so many of us here, there's literally 8 of us. Just like I said, to keep it streamlined, we all had our equal say in terms of what were top 3 and honorable mentions for 2022. Very diverse, quite an eclectic. I mean, some of you guys actually surprised me in terms of what was your top 3. To be honest,
Did we?
Oh well, yeah. I was quite surprised. I was actually quite surprised. And actually from Chris as well. I thought he would have had a transformer in there for
Yeah,
something.
very disappointing.
I
for
don't
the
think
head
anyone
of
saw that
GCCA.
SHF.
Give us your transformer
Um,
card back, please. You're revoked.
I don't think anyone saw that SHF Mighty Thor coming.
Yeah. Again,
You know what? Well deserved though, because even the
yeah.
Hasbro version was great. I've got her on my
Yeah.
shelf. I don't collect Thor figures, and as soon as I saw the Natalie Portman Hasbro figure, I was like, done.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's
Yeah.
hot.
One
Great figure.
last thing. So now what we're going to do is go around everyone, and then before we conclude, I want to pick the figure off one of your top 3s that most impressed me.
Ooh.
And for me, from a person's pick, that Galvatron figure Jason whipped out, holy cow! And that when we did that on a round table, that to me is definitely worthy of a top 10 for any
That's
year.
a great figure.
Yeah. Okay, so that's let's go, Mikey. You pick someone else's.
Oh god. Oh, Galactus is pretty good. Ah, shit. I didn't know we were doing this. Some of the spot. I liked. I like Will's Magic Square Optimus Prime. He's convincing me that. Is it Magic Square?
Yeah, Magic Square.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
I like the Magic Square Optimus Prime. It looks great, and it's really tempting me to actually get that and like put my MP10, which I adore, in vehicle mode, and then display that in robot mode.
I like Magic.
Siegel.
So I can't pick Will because he's already been picked by Mikey.
No, you can pick whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'll pick you any day of the week, buddy.
It's a game. Whoever scores the most wins.
Yeah. I want to.
Ooh, I
which is
really,
Keep going. Go on.
yeah, I really did like that Venom. that
Yeah,
Will
we
had. And the pose that it was in was so good as well.
Thanks,
Okay.
man.
Andrew.
Yeah.
Andrew.
Any of the figures that our Lord and Savior Will said, I'm a massive Star Wars fan. I purposely did not choose a Star Wars
Yes.
figure because I knew that it would just, if me and Will did it, like if I chose my Star Wars, it would have just been me and Will saying the same thing. I'm pretty sure that's what happened last year. So, I
I
agree
think
with
so.
100%. Everything that Will said, I completely agree with.
Chris.
Nice. Thank you. Maul approves.
100%.
So my favorite figure, and I loved it when I was at your house a couple of weeks ago. That little Leonardo figurine.
Yep. Turtles.
Yep.
Nice.
Being a Turtles fan as well, I
Yep.
loved it. And the fact that it looks like a hybrid between a few different franchises.
Nice.
nailed it.
Talon.
I mean,
Short and sweet.
I'm double dipping, but that Mythic Legion Centaur I have to give a shout out to because that whole line is just Grand Slam after Grand Slam, and it pains me because I know I can't have any of it, and I think that's probably the entire reason I want every figure in that line so badly.
Yep. Okay. And Cookie.
Oh, look, it's hard, man.
Just
I was
pick
gonna
one.
say
Pick one.
Jason's. I was going to say Jason's
Galvin?
Galvatron, but no,
Ooh.
Darth Maul from Will.
Darth Maul.
That thing
Jason.
is, it's just, I might just grab one if I have.
Tell
to.
you the
Yeah.
point of the exercises
Yeah,
in a minute.
for sure.
Last but not, I'm hoping Jason, we can hear him and his sound is not garbled. Jason. No, we can't hear him.
Don't go superior.
So the whole point of
He
the
says Santa
Okay,
Claus.
hang on,
Jason said
hang on.
Santa
Jason has said because his pick is exactly the same as mine. So he loves the Leonardo as well.
Oh, so in terms of all the offerings we had today, the double up or the triple ups, so of all the top 3s, it'd be safe to say that who had 2 or 3 mentions the same? I was hoping Galvi. No, it has to be Leonardo.
It was the
was
Leonardo.
Leonardo.
Yeah.
There you go. So there you go. All right. Well, there you go. He's a nice. On that note, let's put him up here. Okay.
Oh, look at that little baby.
Look at that guy. Guys,
Can't wait to see the others.
definitely. I, like I said, look at him in all his glory. on that note, guys, I am very thrilled. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, joining in. Thanks for your time. It's been a long stream, long overdue, something that we want to do for 2022. I'm glad we did it and kickstarted 2023. There'll be lots of things happening this year. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I also will be remiss to say that we are going to miss Jason. He's moving back to Melbourne. So the roundtables will continue next year, except to Jason, but Jason will be online. He'll be doing some of these midweek musings with us and online stuff with us. And also to everyone that has come on. Thank you, Rob. It's certainly always very nice to have everyone participate. And actually, we didn't hear from people what their top 3 were for tonight. And we'll leave that for another time. But cool, guys. So thank you. Any parting words before I kick everyone off? And no, yay, nay.
Yeah,
thank you everyone. And have a
thank
great one, and hopefully you get your greatest toy this year as well.
I just want to say,
and thank you for commenting.
Yeah, thankful for everyone who gave us 2 hours or just over 2 hours of their time tonight. That's just awesome. And when people can sit around us, people can sit around and watch us talk about toys for that long. It's astounding just to think about. And I have to thank Clinton as well, just for giving us all this platform to talk about our favorite toys.
Thank you very much.
True.
Thank you. By the way, special mention to our guys, our brothers, not here tonight. Simon Flack, greatest toy minds in Australia. You bet, buddy. Certainly not aiming to be the greatest, just fun.
We're pretty good.
And also to Dave. So on that note, guys, and I'm sorry, I just wish I could hear Jason say his goodbyes too. Probably be his last stream in Sydney before we see him back in Melbourne. So thumbs up. Jason, as always, fantastic. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe from all of us here at Toy Reel. We hope you have a wonderful 2023, and we will endeavor to bring you more programming, more live streams, and ultimately more toys. Thanks for watching, everyone. All signing off. Cheers.
I love you.
Thank you.
We love you all.
Bye.
Thank you.
Too soon.